Everyone, and welcome to today's episode of our podcast here at Kayode Consulting Council. Today, our topic is a little bit different from what we've been discussing over time. So today's conversation, we are going to be talking about get-rich schemes. So why do people fall easily for get-rich schemes? Is it ignorance, greed, or both? Right? And I have wonderful and brilliant minds here on stage with me. I'm going to be asking them around probably their personal experiences, because I think almost everyone has been um, or has fallen to these get-rich schemes in one way or the other. So we're going to be discussing around it, and of course we're going to be taking excerpts from the book A Fool at 40. So starting with it, my greed took the most of me. The multimillionaire with police and a dream, too good to be true. The year was 2015. And ambition burned bright in my belly. Billionaire by 40. makes people fall easily for it. So I have very wonderful minds here, brilliant minds, and we are going to be discussing around their personal or private encounters or experiences around get rich schemes. I think in one way or the other, everyone has fallen prey to these get rich schemes. Um, we are going to be taking or starting with excerpts from the book A Fool at 40. And in the book, the author, Dr. Kayode Femi, gave a breakdown or a little brief about what he called my greed took the most part of me. So, and it started with the multimillionaire with polio and a dream, too good to be true. The year was 2015, and ambition burned bright in my belly. Billionaire by 40. That was the audacious dream, fueling every decision. One sweltering afternoon, a client called, urging me to tune into a specific radio station. Intrigued, I switched channels, half expecting the usual cacophony of music and adverts. Instead, a smooth, charismatic voice washed over the airwaves. Greetings, friends, boomed the man, claiming to be a multi-millionaire. See, I used to be a scrawny kid with polio, barely able to walk, but look at me now. He painted a picture of rags to riches glory, followed by some revolutionary investment strategy. Just look at me, he repeated, his voice dripping with triumph. Here I was, a healthy man, struggling to make ends meet, and this polio-stricken guy was a millionaire in dollars. Talk about inspiration. Blinded by starry-eyed ambition, I dove headfirst. I attended his workshops, shelling out a small fortune for every secret he revealed. I even joined his elite team, a decision that would soon become my biggest regret. Back then, I had a thriving business, generating millions of naira. It was a comfortable life, but nowhere near the billionaires' league. So with a gambler's mentality, I threw it all away, lured by the promises of untold riches. So let's start with you, Eben, right? We are going to be taking it bit by bit, but then, do you know about get rich schemes? Let's start with that first.
Yeah, get rich schemes are everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I know I'm victim of a few. I was back then, 5, 6 years ago, and it was painful. At the time, one of the things, I spoke to someone that gambles, and then he tells me that the reason why he would not stop is because it gives him hope of something to come. So when you have your last money, you just take it and then you gamble, and you are expecting that, yes, maybe just like Lionel Messi that said during the 2022 final, he said, it could be today, grandma, it could be today. And then you just keep wallowing in that illusion.
Do you know about MMA? Was it MMM or MMN, right?
I did.
Did you do it?
I did MMM.
Like with how much?
Then I was a student. Like I saved and saved. I just 50,000 naira.
Did you use your school fees?
I did use my school fees, no.
So I had a friend that used his school fees while we were in school to do MMM.
Wow.
There were other ones aside from MMM, Ultra something. There were a lot of it going around.
There was this one I did. That was during COVID. So I got a contract work with National Population Commission. So to do geomapping to prepare for the forthcoming census. And we were paid heavily, we were paid nicely, right? For somebody that was waiting for the strike and COVID to be over, I was just in 400 level then. So you just have to spend 2 weeks in a remote area getting data from families, and you are paid as much as 250,000. So one of my senior friends now called me and told me that there's this company. What they do is you give them a certain amount of money, and what they will do for you is at the end of 30 days, they are going to pay you 10% of what you put, right? So, you know now, after being defeated by MMN, I said, let me try. See if this person that called me is somebody I respect so much. So, I said, I started with 20,000 naira. And guess what? 30% came back. I said, all right. So I launched into the deep. I gave 100K. So when it was time to pay, and I was how far now? I'm expecting my money. They said, you know, since mine was 100K, that it was going to take a little bit of time. She just give them 1 week. 1 week turned 2 weeks, turned 3 weeks. Money did not come. That was how it went. And then it was later on, I got to hear on news that, not on news, on Twitter, that the person that was in charge carted away with millions. And the last time I dropped money happened to be, it seems like that was the last time I was waiting for people to just drop and he would just run away. It's
I thought I was the only one.
it's a pain.
I'm still paying that debt to my family.
It's a pain.
You know, my brother, that was in 2022. So this company just came, and my brother is this kind of person. He's so quick to agree without investigating. So he just came up and said, oh, you know what? There's this company that said you should bring money. They'll help us do Forex. After some time, you're going to get some refunds, and it's good money. So he said good money. And as at that time, my father's gratuity was just about to come in. So there was so much pressure on me because I'm next of kin, so I have to put my signature there. So he told me, told my mom, oh, this thing is going to work very well. And you know, mothers with their sons, they always agree. So I gave him 5 million naira, and till today, I've not seen 10 naira. And I'm still paying. It's okay, like, I'm a living witness of scam. Yeah.
Oh, it's get rich schemes. Some persons actually don't call it scam. It's so now. Do you think your brother was ignorant, or it was greed, or it was just him
For
being
him,
ambitious?
I think he wanted to be ambitious. He's very ambitious, and I like that about him because he wants to make more money. It's just like making quick money. When they say, oh, bring 100K, I'll triple it with 500. He likes that kind of money. And then for an economics like him, I don't expect that he doesn't have financial knowledge, but then he just wants to be ambitious and greed too. Having to have more of what you have. Sometimes when you have something, let it be enough for you to think. But then when you want to have it and say, oh, what if I give 5 million, 10 million come, I don't make 5 million, I'll give them their 5 million. So we end up losing both sides.
So, Dr. Zainab, do you agree with the fact that it was greed, or if you think the brother was ignorant with the story she just told?
Well, I think, shall I say both?
Both.
Yes.
Why? Why do you think?
Because, you know, like, greed is like a desire for someone to just, get rich in just a short phase of time. And, you know, when you don't have the knowledge of how to manage your wealth and the rest, it's something different, actually.
You know, but I think from this story, it just dropped on my mind that, see, ambition without the requisite knowledge is risky.
It's very risky.
Ambition alone is a risk. And you don't have the requisite knowledge to move with that ambition. It's terrible.
I think sometimes peer pressure too, wanting to be like the next person, wanting to have what the next person has, sometimes pushes us to those scams because it might work for me and it might not work for you. So it's a decision to know that what I have, you can have, and what you have is just to be content, because if you're not also content, you will fall over and over and over, because sometimes they come with juicy offers. They never come with things that are not juicy. It will always be attractive for you to. Sometimes you have sleepless nights about it. I don't know whether it happens to you people, but me like this, like when MMM came, Me and my sister, we are hustlers, so we were, we were recruiting people. We will go and tell you that, how far? Have you heard of MMM? You don't want to save money. The luck I had was I withdrew the money in the evening and it crashed in the morning. So if only it crashed with that money, my school fees was there.
Oh, you were part of those that use school fees to do it.
And that time, my father used to pay school fees just once. So I don't know who to go and meet for the money. So when it happened, my sister's money went, but she was consoled that mine wasn't. So sometimes it's also the ambition to want to be better. No. I just feel everything is time. Proper understanding of what time is. I think that's what we lack in today's time. We don't know what time is. Time. Everything has time. Everything has time. And if it's not your time, it's not just that time. But sometimes too much of wanting to be there and wanting to be like other people make us not to be content with what we have.
So you think if it was your time or your sister's time right now, Get Rich Scheme would have been a way for her to be very rich?
If that was not a scam, right, I would not have had this thought I have that sometimes you have to wait. It's not every scheme, everything, every application you should be on. Just take a step back and watch other people, because whether you like it or not, people are going to do what they want to do. And you cannot choose what they want to do for themselves. So what you do is just to guide yourself first. Know yourself. Because if you know, nobody can know you better than you know yourself. If you say, no, you're not doing this, you won't do it. But if you say, oh, you're indecisive. Oh, because she said, oh, let's do it, I'm going to do it. No. Even if she says she's going to do it, if I say I'm not going to do it, there's no force about it, right? So we should learn not to have double minds. You have to have a mind of your own. Because sometimes going through social media, and social media has also affected this thing or made it very rampant in this day and time. The new media, it has come up with a lot of things that sometimes you're just casually strolling on your phone, and then this app just comes and says, I can offer you 400,000 naira and no loan, no collateral. You know, I'm sorry, I don't know if you people.
Okay.
All the time,
I've seen it all
because
the time, yeah.
is it they have a lot of it. I can give 500,000 naira, fair money. It's sometimes very, very daring, because the more time you spend on your phone, the more time you keep seeing this, and when you see the social media lifestyle,
It's overwhelming.
and we don't understand that social media is not real life. There's more that happens in real life than social media. Like this program now is going to be, even if we want to be airing it in the next 5 years, we're going to do that. And it's going to make people think we just aired it today. That's what social media is. I can keep a video for a long time and then just bring it out when I want to bring it out. But then to make people feel like, oh, this just happened. And it stirs up a lot in our head. The mind is a crazy place. The only place that doesn't sleep is your mind. It doesn't sleep. It keeps revolving. It just keeps banging off a lot. So your feature on your phone should not be how to make money or how to be rich. It should be how to develop yourself. Because sometimes if you don't see yourself, you wouldn't know what you're about. You just let other people judge who you are and make you feel like, oh, because you're not making money, you're less of a person. I think the world has made us feel that if you don't have money, you're nothing. It's just a notion. It's not true. It's just a trend, and I feel it's a phase. Because 5 years from now, life was not like this. We used to be happy without even money. But now,
There was a time people were happy without money.
yes,
What was making them happy then? I'm interested in that
no,
part.
I'm serious.
But definitely.
We used to enjoy friendship without money. We used to enjoy companionship without money. We used to enjoy a lot of privileges without money. But now, if you don't have money, me safe.
You rethink it. Dr. Eben, do you think money, or okay, let's put it this way, do you think being poor, or what we call being broke, is the reason people actually do get into get rich scheme?
I wouldn't attribute it to just being broke or poor. I think I would also say that lack of ambition, lack of identity. You know, when I speak with my uncle, he retired from Shell. He worked with Shell for over 12 years, and he retired. And he told me that when he was going to school barefooted, right? And all he knew then was after school, he's not going home. He will go to the farm to help them and bring some produce home. So I would say that being broke is a thing of, it's not just about your current state, it's about your mind, it's about, she talked about the mind, it's about your ambition. Honestly speaking, you may not have anything now, so long as you have an ambitious mind. It's just a matter of time, right? The author of this book, he told us that there was a time he was in debt. There was a time he would do bus conductor work and then go back home and look at the picture, look at the ambition, look at what his future was going to look like. You know, so being broke is not about having the money now. It's about your mind. It's okay, you know, if you don't have the money, that's 1-0. If you don't have the money and you're not ambitious, 2-0. True.
Okay, so you talked about the author of the book, eh?
Yeah.
So the same author of the book who would do bus conductor work is still the same person who went to be paying money and said it's his greed that took the better part of him, right? Or that took the most of him. So this chapter now, do you really think it was his greed or it was just him being ambitious?
That was what we said earlier now. You know, ambition without the required knowledge.
So you think he didn't have the knowledge just at the time he was paying that money?
I can bet. The greed, perhaps he may have some knowledge at that point, but the greed was more.
I think he needed self-discovery too. He already had a vision of what he wanted, but he needed a push. He needed that push. When it pushes you, you have an ambition, but you needed to I don't know how to say this, self-understand yourself. Like, you know yourself, but you have to understand. There comes a time, I'm not there yet, I just learned from a lot of people that in the life of everybody, you have to have a closed door, one-on-one with yourself. You have to appraise your life and then take certain decisions that a lot of things will have to go for you to get there. And I think that's what he did, because he understood that there were just some boundaries that were not going to follow him anymore. And then there was this dream that he was looking at, and then he was already there. So he wasn't ready for anybody to put him back or say, oh, just wait for a little while. You're going to get there, but just wait. No, he didn't have that time. He just was focused on what he wanted, and then he discovered it. I think that's what happened there.
Dr. Zina?
And actually, greed and ignorance can put you in trouble. Actually, because these scammers, they have their tactics. They know how to get within you to get what they want. Because just imagine now the issue of this one chance. Like someone will just, you just opt in a car and then you meet them, they'll start to talk about dollars. So like if you're not greedy and ignorance, you just fall a victim. And before you know it, basically maybe because they mentioned dollars and they said, okay, when they share it among you, you get like close to 500 million. You start, oh my God.
You start
You understand? So
million.
seriously, you just have to be, and you just have to have knowledge about our financial discipline, and then yes.
So do you know about Bet Niger?
Yeah, I heard about it, but
But you don't have any experience. Like you don't have friends or brothers or sisters that play.
The current one now is not Bet Nigeria. It's Sporty Bet. Sporty Bet
Okay,
is the current.
Sporty Bet.
Oh, Bet Fuels.
Any of those ones.
You mean King Bet, Bet Fuels?
Bet Fuel,
Don't worry, I have them. A lot. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I have them. Yeah, a lot.
I have so not that I have a problem, but
I have them,
like,
and they never have money.
eh,
They are always broke, but they have money to have
So I
paper. They are always in paper. Like every time you see them, even the gate man, he lost his job because of this
it's still the same
this
thing that
bet
they are
thing.
playing.
This
So I'm really
it's always early in
confused.
the morning, and it's so bad. It has gone into our villages. In fact, that's what's making money now in the village. If you have
Bet
a
Naija
betting
shop.
They
shop,
bet Naija shop,
you're going to
yeah.
make a lot of money in the village, because that's why there's food security. That's why there's, no, not food security, sorry. I beg your pardon. That's why there's food scarcity. Like, I use an example of where I come from. We're good with sweet potatoes, gari, akpu, pear. The pear you eat is from us, granuts, maize. If you go to the village now, boys that are supposed to farm at Bet Naija shop, in fact, they sleep there. If the man does not close, they are not
They are
going.
not going.
As before he comes, they are calling him, Oga, I don't bet that bet, oh, that ticket. I won't lock that ticket, I beg. They are waiting for him to come. And so what do you have to do? There's nothing, nobody goes to the farm anymore. They helped us to even look for other things that will keep us busy. So even if you pay a guy money to say, oh, come and do this thing for me, you have to police him, because he's a Bet Naija shop trying to bet. I have an uncle that lost everything on betting. Yes, he's still living in the house now. Every time when I look at him, before I used to feel pity for him, but he's unrepentant, so I stopped pitying him.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
They don't
because I
repent.
don't know if it's. He used to say sometimes he can just lunatically come and tell you, I don't know who is doing me. Oh. I don't know who
People
is
from the
doing
village.
me. I don't know whether my village people have they no. It's a mindset. I think betting is a mindset, trust me. Because if you keep your mind busy, you won't have time to think about. True, yeah. There was a time I almost wanted to learn how to bet. Yeah. I tried. Oh God, I tried. All my people that live around me, they do it, but they used to hide. They say sporty. I have my uncle. Anytime I visit, he will use my phone to check life score. That's how I got it. So me too. And now I was checking life score, I didn't understand what it is. Even the 1.5 they talk about, I don't know how it happens. I would just be asking, how now they play this team? How now show me? Because every time the day Chelsea was playing with Man U, I would have put in good money to get good money, but I didn't know how to play it. That's how that money went. So you see, it's a mindset. I'm speaking from experience. Yeah. It's a mindset. If your mind is idle, you will look for other alternatives to keep you alive and give you some quick money. For them, they feel it's quick, and truly it's quick money.
It is actually.
It's really quick money, because sometimes you get to, these days, there are even more computerized games that they say is, how is it called? Life match. So they play it in 30 seconds. It's a computer thing.
That's virtual.
So you see.
So there's virtual,
so you see, like
there is Sporty Hero, a lot of them.
Eben.
No, we are on the internet. We are on Twitter. We see all these things. We see all those things.
Are you sure?
We should not be looking at you.
If you are currently watching Olympics, right? The Olympic Games.
Yes,
one of the major adverts
they
is
do,
Sporty
yes,
bets.
that's it, yes.
So it's everywhere
It's
now.
everywhere.
Whether you want to see it or you will definitely.
So that's
see
actually
it.
where I was coming from.
everywhere.
So yeah, you said they rarely are people who are rich or people who have money.
No.
But I know a lot of people.
I didn't say that. I said they are always not having money.
They're always not having money.
And they don't have money to give you,
Okay.
but they have money.
to play. Oh, okay.
It's not having money. Not
okay.
You're not listening. I mean, having money.
To give
That's
you
paper. Oh my God, it's very daring. It's calling for a lot of alarm, because the depth at which this thing has eaten into the society, there's no going back. I don't know what to do. because every corner now has a betting shop. Plazas are selling out because of betting shops. If you have a plaza, there must be a betting shop on that complex. What do we do? Because it's eating us deep. People, I've seen someone who sold his father's car just to bet. A lot of them, a lot of
more.
issues. Most of them are owing people up and down
I've
because
seen
of
more. That's why
betting.
I've seen more.
It's very, very alarming. Now the thing is, who is to be blamed? Who do we put this on? For me, I put it on ourselves. We are so responsible for that recklessness. Because whether you like it or not, right? Everything comes from inside.
So will you call that foolishness?
Yes. No. Sorry. It comes from inside. If you're foolish inside, it will show outside.
So you think he's foolish?
No, I just feel it's lack of direction. Not having what you want to do for yourself. Like looking at yourself. Sometimes look at yourself first. Like if you go to the betting shops, you hardly meet responsible people at the live shop. The ones that are on the phone are the orgas. If you go below to all this slump, you'll be thrilled. You will see different kind of, you will wonder and marvel how God created people. You meet different kind of people at place. Both women, men, children, yes, children.
Yes, pregnant women actually. Oh.
Children, everybody is allowed to come in and go out. And there are no restrictions, there are no regulatory bodies to curtail this.
Do you think regulatory bodies are supposed to have anything? Dr. Zainab, people go into these shops, right? And it works for some persons, so that's the part that I think we have to talk about. Because when they look at people it has worked for, a lot of them are encouraged to do it because they think it works. So, but in the real sense, is it really working? And there are some very rich men and women that do this thing that we are talking about. It's like very, very rich people.
But does it really work for them?
So that's the question. Do you think that the fact that they are making money from it means it's working? And if it's working, does it mean get-rich schemes actually pay?
Okay, let me help you. Sorry. If you look at these influencers that do these betting things, betting is like what they do at their leisure. That's not what they do. Like, you see, the Casey family, they're into betting a lot. They do a lot of betting. Even Cheji Okocha owns a betting shop,
exactly,
a betting platform. He said, they were interviewing him on BBC, and he said, it's just, when he was thinking about retiring from football, he just wanted something to keep him alive and give him money. And so when he looked at what is going to be coming so quickly, Africa likes football. So he wanted to come in and steal the market, just like making money. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is, for these rich people you're talking about, is a second business. That's not what is my major source. Most people use it as quick money.
So
they throw in quick money.
Could be a business for somebody.
Yes, it's very lucrative. Betting,
so will you blame the owners of these businesses for owning businesses?
You cannot blame business owners for owning that business. You blame the people that have made it a duty to always visit that place. If it is not something you do every day, it's fine. Yeah. Sometimes you can just sit and say, I do this thing. It's something you just want to, it's out of curiosity. But then when you go there every day, you're a customer, they know you. It just means like you don't have any direction on what you want. So it's not about, no, I stand to disagree. People that have money and they bet is for fun. Because that betting money is not, like Drake, sorry. I follow Drake a lot. He's one of my best. He bets a lot too. But you see, he has what he is busy with. He only bets when there are bigger matches, when they have matches that you can throw in some good dollars and make some huge amount of money. Then you see him throw in that. The last Premier League, I think he lost He lost that match and the money was gone. And then he was just giving an MOL like, oh, it's just a game. So for him, it's fun. It's something, it's out of curiosity that, oh, let me just throw this money and see whether it's going to bring out something. These are people that are already made. But for people that are still just starting up life, it's lack of direction. I still stand on that word because if you have direction, you have focus. That will not take your time. Betting is exhausting. Trust me. You, I've seen, they will not even have phone. They never have good phones. Most of them, they will just be begging you, let me check life score, I beg. They don't. It's devastating, trust me. You will just laugh over it, but it's eating us deeply. It is. Children are no longer at home because of betting. They want to watch every channel. They want to record. Which one will you talk about that you will not talk about betting? It's a major problem in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have just 30 minutes, and I think our 30 minutes is almost up. We have less than 5 minutes to round up, right? So, Dr. Zainab, do you think it's a foolish decision to be involved in get-rich schemes? You think it's a foolish decision?
Yes.
Why? Why do you think it's a foolish decision?
Basically because you cannot come. Sorry.
So, people do it, and it's paying some. Why others, it's not? Do you think it's a foolish decision to even think about being wealthy and then you attribute it, or you just link it to just
Well,
get
as
rich
she mentioned
schemes?
earlier, some people are just doing it for fun, actually. So, to me, I'm just blaming those people that usually get involved. Like, take it as you don't have something, but because of your greed, ignorance, you just want to go into something that you just think that it's going to happen just out of a blue mind. Like, you understand? So to me, I think it's a foolish idea.
You think it's a foolish idea?
Yes.
So now we've been saying that being foolish is a good thing.
Yes, but this one is not good thing.
This particular foolishness. Now, what kind of foolishness? Where will you put it? Will you say so?
No, it's not a good one.
It's not a good one. So what if the person now realizes that it's not a good foolishness and then makes changes? Will you now consider that foolishness a good foolishness?
Yes.
Okay.
I think when it comes to if you are going by the lessons you've learned from this book, being called a fool or foolishness comes in a context, right? So for Dangote, in that context, he was proud to call himself a fool because of what he was trying to do. At that time, he was not understood yet. But in this context of Ponzi scheme, honestly, that person is an actual fool, if you ask me.
An actual fool.
An actual fool. You get? So, but then when it comes to the other context of I am ambitious, I am trying to do something extraordinary, and people do not understand, and by virtue of them not understanding, they call me a fool. That's okay. But Ponzi scheme, no.
So you don't agree with that part? All right. So let's end it with you, right, Dr. Eben? With what Dr. Kayode Femi wrote in this book,
Yeah.
I'll ask again.
Yeah.
Would you consider what the move he made as at then a foolish move?
Yes. It was a foolish move.
Why? Why do you think it was a foolish move?
I wish I can get the opportunity to ask him if he asks for second opinion before venturing into that Ponzi scheme as at then, that scheme as at then, right? Because sometimes second opinion can redirect you. You know, when you ask after a chairman, I'm trying to do this, and then that person may just say something that will just redirect your head back to where you're supposed
They will
to
knock
be.
you back to reality.
You know, so I would say that at that time, it was a foolish decision. Yeah, at that time, that was again sponsored by the greed and then wanting to be a millionaire that he is now.
Okay.
He wants to open his mind.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We had just 30 minutes, and we are still going to continue on this by next week's Sunday by 3 p.m. exactly, and then we'll discuss the remaining parts of Foley 1 in the book A Fool at 40. Thanks for joining us. My name is Dr. Nancy Eniotu, and it was nice having you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so good afternoon. Thank you. So I want to thank the first cohort of today's meeting, Dr. Nancy, Dr. Zainab, Dr. Iben, and then our director of training. You people will be seeing more of her. She resumed, and she will be organizing all our training programs. She will be at the forefront, so that I can spend a little time and do a few things. But I have a confession to make. But you know, after today's talk, after today's meeting, I changed my mind completely. So for the last 2-3 weeks, I've been struggling with myself. Do I really want to do this? So a few years ago, before I think about 10, 12, 13 years ago, I used to be, so 16, 17, I used to be pastor of a church. I left that, and I went into motivational speaking, and I've told my team quite a lot that happened with the motivational talk. I was struggling with my finances, and yet I was telling people that they could build a life. The one funny one was I was invited, and you know, then I used to get invitation. I was invited, and then I was on stage with the whole anointing and the sole of my shoe removed. So when I knew it was removed and I was on stage, I didn't know whether to move right, move left. And it was a huge embarrassment. Another embarrassment I faced, I used to be on TV too, talking. And so usually it was morning something with Dr. Femi or so. So somebody, you know, we get feedbacks after every of those classes. And there was this particular lady that just admired. She said each time she wakes up, she gets inspired by the words. And so I really don't know how it happened. You know, sometimes faith, so I can't explain. But we were in the same keke napep. So I entered keke napep, and I just saw a lady looking at me. You know they will know you, but you will not know them. Then she now said, "Am I Dr. Femi?" I said, "Yes." She didn't call me again. So she didn't call me again. So one day alone, I told myself, if I know all I know, why don't I use it to build? So if you know, you will build. It will show in your life, right? Not just talking about it. So one day alone, I made a conscious decision, no more mics in church, no more mics outside. That I was going to sink in everything I know into building, because it's actually work to build. It's a lot of work to build. So I penned down in my wisdom book then that once I'm 40, I hope to have built something I'm proud of, and then I'll start giving back, holding the hands of young people to do what I've done, maybe even more. So when I was 40, I'd already had this plan. So the last 2 weeks have been struggles for me. So let's say being worth $1 billion or $2 falls below where I want to be, right? So just this morning while I woke up, so I had to Google all the list of billionaires we have in dollars in Nigeria. I wrote their names down. And I've been burdened, so it's a lot of work to build. So you don't want to combine it with talking. No, it's not, they don't join. So the struggle, I almost made, you know, I called you, I said, how busy are you on Saturday? I did eventually call you again because I wanted to bounce the idea through her. What if I close all these things and just focus? I almost made that decision. So that I don't get to, there's a lot of work to still be done. I honestly think I don't need the limelight now. I still think so, despite I made that commitment. So while she was talking, and you know, everything just clicked while they were on stage. Young people in villages, they need hope. The fact that, and hope is a powerful force, because without it, you just die away. Hope is a very powerful force. If you don't think tomorrow will be better, there's no need to live today. It is the hope that tomorrow will be better that makes you wake up. The society has not provided the infrastructure for hope to be renewed. Hasn't. So there's this American dream everybody talk about, that you can wake up even with a lot of student debt. You can own your house, you can own your life. You can be proud of yourself. Right. That hope needs to be there for people to work hard. Once it's not there, there's no need. Who for the joy that was set before him, right? There's this power you have because you think tomorrow will be better. So the society, Nigeria, Africa generally, hasn't provided that level of hope for people. So the business mogul, and there's a lot of bounty on everybody's head using the phone and social media. They are paying influencers in millions. Look at these lousy skit people, and pardon the word lousy. They're extremely they have money. They have money. They are paying stupid people to get your attention. You have to understand that there's billions of dollars thrown just for your attention. You are not designed according to the people who control money, who control influence, for you to be successful. They just want you to be alive, stupid enough to just use your entire 70 years, 80 years, 100 years, and end up just like every other person. So the tide designed is not designed in your favor. So when I really didn't even think about that. I didn't connect the fact that food security could also be as a result of hope stolen away. It didn't just, when she just mentioned that, I said, okay, it's possible. Because I was in Lokoja and had a veterinary clinic close to I've never done any sporting thing before. First of all, I don't even watch football. I'm not a very strong fan. I don't watch football. And it's not like watching football is it's something outside. It's just that I have my particular preferences. I have what I watch when I want leisure. So there was a sporting facility by the veterinary clinic that I was having then in Lokoja. They will be sweeping papers. Like they are the only one who fill the dustbin in a day. So one day, I think one of my good friends entered there. And I tried to find out, so how do you even play this thing? You put in money, if the game doesn't cut, that's what he said, then you will get it. It's hope everybody wants. And then I realized, while she was sitting there, I wrote in my journal that let me struggle hard to keep both while working. It's going to be a tough time for some of us while working, to see if people come together and let's learn. So I won't call you again. I'll stay on this. And honestly, I almost canceled. You will just wake up. I will just apologize and say I want to focus still on building. Really. It was that tough decision for me. So let's do this, but maybe I will do it in a much more quiet scale, and then just allow people come in because they want to come in. So we have a director of training. She will handle most of the trainings, but I will keep this meeting as my own meeting. We will have other meetings because we have young people who just need support to grow, and I want to be committed to that. We made a small, I also wanted to start a school. So what I did was to adopt a school. And what we are doing with the school is to encourage leadership and problem-solving skills. Anybody who is a leader and who can solve problems, we employ people who went to school. So if they start learning it from onset and they can build that habit, I think we will stop. This protest is madness. Just go through all the history. There were a lot of protests. By tomorrow now, I think the police have calmed everything down. Life continues as usual. It's not working. Okay, I know we hope for a revolution. I don't know how that is going to work. But I think if we can build better people, and keep on building better people, one day we can take the nation by the storm. Is that okay? So I will stay on this, I will commit to it, and we will get it through together. So I want to thank you all for coming today. Just a brief about the greed part. So don't gamble. Once you don't understand it, don't do it. It's just I've been beaten four or five times. The last time it happened, I told my wife, I will not put my money in what I don't understand again. Period. No matter how well it's looking on you, you have your own journey. I will thank God for you. See, how much is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is around 100 million now, one Bitcoin. 100 million naira. I had five. So I think it was 2018 or so, I can't remember, or 2017, 2018 or so. I had 5 Bitcoin. And I had the opportunity to also buy a little more. So what discouraged me? The same thing, the way there's a lot of bounty on your head, on our head, every one of us, from social media. It will come in. They said, oh, if you keep this Bitcoin, you will see it rolling. It's gimmicks. It's a game. They are playing on your mind and on your greed. So they said, oh, so I had the 5 Bitcoin, and I was like, oh, they now announced that it will be 30% as it's rolling. Is it daily or so? So I put it in. One day, the site wasn't coming up again. It wasn't coming up again. We go good. The site wasn't coming up again. Till today, it hasn't come. So just imagine I kept that Bitcoin in my wallet and forgot it. Will 500 million do us good now? This one that I shared in this book, that was what plunged me into 4 years debt. 4 years. I wasted 4 years of my life because I had a running business. People trusted me, putting money into the business. And then the thing with some of these gimmicks is that they've designed it in such a way that once you take one step, you will take the, you will take the next step. That's where greed comes in. Like, you will just decide, just continue. I continued for 1 year. By the time I looked back, my business has failed. I was owing people, and almost everything was crumbling. 4 years. 4 years. So this series will educate you on the hard-earned lessons I've learned. And it's not going to be a get rich quick thing, because it will point to you first. It's very difficult for me to go down. Even if I go down now, I can still rise up almost immediately, because it was first of all me before income. And so that's why I did this next 4 weeks. I've streamlined what we're going to be discussing. Today, I will be talking about the operating system of money, what controls it, OS, for those of us who have computer knowledge. Next week, I'll be talking about the discipline of money. So today, I will just talk about the mind that allows you to have surplus. Because there's a mindset that allows, if you don't have that operating system, it's going to be very difficult. Next week, I'll be talking about the discipline you need in terms of budgeting, in terms of savings. Next week, that's what I'm going to be focused on. So how do you structure your income? I'm going to be talking about that. The third week, I'm going to be talking about multiplying your money. This is very important. I was driving somewhere and I had somebody that I know close to me, with me. And the person said, this is my goal. So I said, okay, you will have goals, but they are vehicles. Your goal requires a vehicle. And please, you need to pay attention. This thing is not motivate. I told you people, I almost gave this up. I don't want to motivate you people. The heart that is doing this is to just help you with at least what I've known. You could build on it and be better, but at least help you with what I know. Because if you want to get to Lagos and you're in Abuja in 2 hours, you cannot use a car. You have to fly. Every goal requires a vehicle. There's no way you want to. He said his goal is in 10 years to have a trillion naira. I said, well, it's a lofty goal, and it's possible. But you cannot do that without owning a business. Thank you. I think I want this. All right, thank you so much. You cannot do that. Thank you. So you can keep this. You cannot do that without owning a business. There's no, which job? We can Google how much the top CEOs in Nigeria are earning. The highest is earning less than, can we Google? Somebody should Google, please. I think there was a time I did that. Highest CEO, MTN, some bank CEO, then Total CEO, Dangote CEO. They're earning less than $1 billion a year. They're earning less than $1 billion a year in annual salary. So if you want to have a trillion as a goal, then your vehicle will be different. It's a different vehicle you need. So in multiplying your money based on your goal, I will be talking about how do you have a side business. It's important. It's a skill all of us need to learn. I'm going to encourage all of you, regardless of whether you're working or you're a student, to start with a side business. You will have to. Not for the income, but for the skill. It's a good skill to be able to walk through people. You cannot build cash surplus without learning how to walk through people. I mentioned in one of the businesses that we run that there are 60, we call them associates, but 60 staffs across various countries. Now, people might think I'm the person driving everything. It's a decoy. I'm not the person driving it. In fact, when I eventually chose a country managing director, that was when we had the highest sales since inception. So I will encourage and bully all of you to have side businesses. I will. I said not for the money, but for the skill. Once you build that skill, so even on, Jerry here, he's my friend, director of media, right? And then, I said, see, your wife is working, you're working. Start a business. Then he started with one POS business. Apologies, Uncle Jerry, I have to share your story. And I think he was making an average of 5,000 a day, which is good money. So POS people, all these POS people, some of you don't earn more than 100,000. Huh? Some people more than that. There are people who earn 50,000. This POS, you can make 5,000 to 6,000 as profit on a day-to-day basis. Don't allow your education deceive you. See? So he started that, and he was happy, 5,000 to 6,000. I said, this is good. This is good. Then one day, you will need to forgive me, Jerry, please. I have to say this. One day, the person that a young lady they put in charge had a boyfriend, or whether boyfriend or whatever it is. Then she now loaned, without his knowledge, the boyfriend 80,000. When they were now doing account, 80,000 was missing. But he had moved past that. It's not for the money. It's for the skill to overcome hurdles. I said I lost 20 million. I was owing 20 million. The kind of resilience that you build by just owning something, you cannot, that skill you cannot buy with money. Whether he likes it or not, he's a stronger person. The business is still continuing. In fact, he told me he has added another one. Fantastic. 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 So you had one, you had a hurdle, you went past the hurdle, now you have two. The mind, the skill that he gets within those contexts is powerful, powerful skills. I will also encourage all of you to have portfolio. That's going to be under week 3. But I needed to say this quickly. And I will not, so there's no need to deceive any one of you, right? Fidelity Bank, GTB, they are selling their shares. And so I will, now, don't do it to make money. But I want to deceive all of you into owning. The least you will have for Fidelity is 1,000 shares. How much are they selling a share? 9.75. I bought 200,000 last week. See, I'm going to dictate my account officer's number, right? Go and buy 1,000. All of you have 10,000, right? It is not for big profit. There's a mindset that builds a wealth portfolio. Fidelity will not disappear like that. It's not get quick spin. Fidelity will not disappear like that. GTB Bank will not disappear like that. Why are they raising money? It's CBN's regulation. Say they have to increase their capital base. So GTB is raising 400 billion. A companion of fool will destroy the person. So he that walks with the wise will be what? Wise. This idea that Fidelity is sharing with you the news of their progress. So Fidelity, the whole Fidelity, is sharing with you to your email that as a dear investor, don't be Sabinus. The real investor, who has 10,000 to spare, if you have more, go ahead. I'm going to dictate her number, right? The scholar is in Abuja here. Tell them that you want to buy 1,000. 1,000 shares is 9,000, 9.75 kobo. 9 naira 75 kobo times 1,000. How much is that? That's the minimum you can buy. So look at how it is, just with 10,000. And guess what? I didn't even buy it in my name. I bought it in the children's name. I don't need it. By the time they are all 18, I've washed my hands. They don't need to call me. They have what it takes to start their own lives. I say this with utmost respect for my parents. Sometimes when they call me and then I send money, they will pray, and I hope my children are not listening. They will pray that my children will take care of me. I don't reject it to their hearing, but I reject it inside. I will take care of me and my wife. Go and take care of your own husband. If you come and visit me, it will be a thing of joy, but not to come and pay my rent. Don't allow good prayers be the one, and I'm going to talk about that shortly, be the one that is undoing your ability to plan for your future. Don't allow. So if you want, remind me, I've told her that I'm going to send some young people. I know she will be expecting big money. If you can buy 20,000 worth of shares, go ahead. If you can buy 30,000 worth of shares, but be in that clique where you have emails. In fact, anyone who doesn't have 10,000 here, 10,000 to buy the shares, you don't have, I'll give you 10,000, right? No, all of you have. All of you have. All of you have. All of you have. Pick a number. Pick a number. So you just do a WhatsApp message, 080, she doesn't pick call on that number, 22619697. 080-22619697. Tell her you're from K-Trybe, that you want to buy Fidelity Bank. It's closing. The reason why I had to talk about it is because it will close 12. Let Fidelity send you an email. Then let's see how the money grows. We have 10 years together. We will come back to this class, and then we will now eventually say, how much has it grown? But by that time, you're already fine with your businesses. Because again, there has to be a portfolio income. Just tell her you're from K-Trybe and you want to buy Fidelity Bank shares. GTB is slightly more expensive. It's 44 naira 50 kobo. So I think we should do Fidelity together. Then the last week, I'm going to be talking about the legacy of money. You need more than money. You need to be in people's life. You will need more than money. Because there are quite a handful of things that money cannot buy. There are quite a handful of things money cannot buy. So I'll be talking about the legacy of money. So let's start with today. We have barely 30 minutes to talk about today. We are talking about the operating system of money. The operating system of money. So if you know anything around computer, you will know that the operating system, I think I wrote it down somewhere. An operating system is the program after being initially loaded into the computer by a boot program, manages all of the other application program in that computer. So it's the operating system in a computer that runs the entire program in that computer. On the internet also, an operating system is the most important software that runs on a computer. So you cannot use a computer without an operating system. Do we all understand that? Fantastic. 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 There was a time the idea around paternity tests trended across Twitter. I think that's trended more than 2 or 3 times, where people, yes, DNA. And it used to raise quite a handful of controversy. But the idea around this DNA test is that you can know whether the children you have is your own children or somebody else's children. Did you hear that? So it means that you now can be confirmed, can be traced back to your parents in a confirmatory. And I'll say that I'm going somewhere, because if I don't lay this foundation, you will think that there's nothing wrong with you. But there is. I need to convince us that there's an operating system that you have now that will limit your ability to grow money. Eben, are you a Christian? Are you a Christian? Your parents, are they Christian? Fantastic. Dr. Zainab, are you Muslim? Your parents, are they Christian? Your parents are Christian, or they are Muslim? They're Christian. Your parents are Muslim, or they are Christian? But you're Muslim, or are you Christian? You're Christian, or are you Muslim? But your parents are Christians. You have stolen a chunk of your parents. Over 90% of people also pick their parents' DNA. They also pick their parents' religion. It's by default. There are just few exceptions. There are few exceptions. Right. You have picked the future of your money from your parents. Eben, can your dad today drop 100 million? If DNA test can take you back to your parent, if the religion you have now can take you back to your parent, you have seen your money future. You will quickly want to say, God forbid. You don't need to forbid it. You just need to understand that the people who gave back to you also poured in the operating system of your life. If you go to Ghana or go to Nairobi, their accent is different. We know that. The Chinese accent is different. Your environment has also poured into you. So you must, by default, understand that there's something in you that is producing your money blueprint that you need to be conscious of. When a madman realizes he's mad, he's getting well. You are just too overconfident. You think you know money. You don't know it. Until you have $1 billion, you don't know how to produce $1 billion. Until you have grown into having, I said something in on our platform. I think it was by Minister of Finance. 5% of accounts in Nigeria have below 500,000. We are all deceiving ourselves. 95% have less than 500,000 in their account. We are just rub and shine. The core of us don't have money. So, if you understand that where you're coming from, there's no billionaire there, it is now left for you to wash your head off that madness. And I did that to get to this point. So I'm going to be giving us 5 critical things we need to wash our head of. And I subtly heard it when we were doing this talk show. I subtly. And I knew it would stop you people. Operating system 1. Money is important. Write that down. Money is important. Operating system number 1. Now, how many of us believe money is important? So let me tell you that you don't believe it's important. Because how do you know when somebody believes money is important? You do whatever it takes. When something is important, you do whatever it takes. So I keep my dad, for values that I have today, I got them from my parents. My dad will never steal. I told us earlier on, my dad's boss left the office and he trusted my dad so much that my dad has access to almost everything in his office. By the time he left, they called my dad because he was the one who knew almost everything. He opened a drawer and they saw, as of then, 5 million. And you know, it was just my dad in that office. He returned the money. Aren't you impressed? So he returned the money. My dad would tell me he prefers his name more than money. My dad will always tell me that his peace of mind is more than money. As good as those statements, they will not make you do what it takes. Not having money is wickedness. Uncle Jerry, he just returned from a journey. And I want you people to listen to me because I need to wash off that operating system that tells you money is not important. I need to totally wash it out. You've heard it in a good way, but it is a decoy. It entered into you and placed the limitation on whatever it is that you need to do. Uncle Jerry just returned. I wanted to convince him not to go because there were protests. He went to Lokoja for a burial. What killed the man? He missed his 2 months medication of diabetes. Each of those medications cost 6.5. You are stupid, you are wicked if you don't have money. Asika, Farmalad gave you $1 million, right? And said we'll give you $1 million naira product loan. We didn't give you because we have. We gave you because we feel, as a brand, we feel an obligation to ensure other people succeed. You can feel that same obligation once you don't have, you cannot do it. My wife got back home 2 or 3 days ago. He was talking to me and Jerry. He said a man was, because he didn't want the protest to catch up with him, was traveling with a truck because they brought cars to Abuja. And because he didn't want to hire a conductor, he came with his son. And when they got to somewhere, The vehicle wasn't starting. I think they stopped to eat. The vehicle wasn't, and this is somebody I know. He has carried some of our farm alive goods. So it's not somebody far. He said the vehicle wasn't starting. And then he went under the truck to check what's the problem. And the truck moved back, squished him right in the presence of his son. Don't be stupid. In fact, God won't allow you enter heaven if you ever believe heaven. They are good, poor people. And allow me to put it that way. Because the undoing of good people is because they feel comfortable not having resources. There are a lot of people that are dying because they don't have resources. If you are part of this, don't ever let anybody deceive you that money is not as important as your peace. Go and check those people, they don't have money. See, you can be good and be rich, and that's what I want to teach us. But if I don't drive into your mind that money is important, you will be relaxed with being self-righteous, yet a lot of people are dying. Are there people who need your goodness? Are there people? What drives me for money is not to enrich myself. Hope you know I have enough resources. You know, somebody jokingly was driving me, and then he said that they saw the car I was driving. Then the new person just joined us. He said, doctor, that can buy a Prado Jeep. So I can. But that's not the purpose of the money I'm raising. 60 people. By the end of this year, we will probably cross the 100 mark. What drives me is how many family that gets better with the structure I'm building. Like, I feel inspired to do more, to empower more people. We gave out 10 million, not because we gave out 10 million because it is our job. That's what drives the core. Our success, and that's why we cannot go down. You know, if there are few people who think we will go down, they will wait until they are tired. Because the operating system that drives the business is bigger than their thoughts. So it cannot be buried by their thoughts. She was outlier. Our chief operating officer came into this hall as a store manager with a 70,000 naira salary. She's earning in hundreds of thousands now. When I look at them, that's what wakes me up. In fact, somebody sent me a message. The person got another job somewhere else that will pay the person much more. And it's not just her. I've seen like 2 or 3 persons send me. And I said, go and take it. And they said, no, they don't want to take it. Each time I see those feedbacks, I get back home and promise myself not to give up. Not for my sake, but for their sake. When you get home today, you have to put water inside a bowl and start washing your hair. Wash it with soap. Wash it again. And tell yourself that money is important. Because that's what is going to get you to do whatever it takes. And don't get me wrong, right? I've always done whatever it takes. Is there stealing, lying in it? Those are all moral issues. If you steal to make money, what does it make you? A thief. If you kill to get money, what does it make you? A killer. So, but there are ways of making this money, driving your account balance up without being immoral. What's operating system 1? Money is what? Support. And you have to believe it. So, let me also tell you why I think you don't believe it. So, if something is important, you do whatever it takes, you learn all you could about it. How many of you are learning about how to make money? You're a doctor, fantastic. You're a doctor, you learned how to be a doctor. Whatever profession you have now, you went to school. So in my house, there's a bookshelf, and we're going to name another outlier for Ibadan. And they projected me on the screen. Unfortunately, my seat, the background is my study. And somebody messaged me and said, I have so many books. I've been having so many books. In fact, tapes, all these cassettes, I still have them. You will not rest until you study what is important. So do you believe money is important? The answer might most likely be no. Once you believe, you will do whatever it takes. Please help me say this after me. Money is important. Money is important. Operating system 2. Money is abundant. This is a very tough one. This is a very tough one. Very tough one. The money you need has been printed. So I went to serve. And then I had the opportunity to be friends with somebody. The mom is highly placed. So and guess what? I've stayed all my life in a room and parlor. Sometimes we could be 18. Sometimes 20-something. If we are sleeping, we used to sleep like fish. You will lie down, lie down, lie down. If this person is snoring, you will lie the opposite way so that it doesn't disturb you. If you are going out in the night, and there's no light, you have to be doing your... It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying there. Austin, do you know what I'm saying? I stayed, next week we're going to buy an AC for this place. Jerry, please remind me. I stayed all my growing up years in those type of situations. I was always driven out of the class for not paying school fees. So when I got to my friend's house, he told me that he's traveling out. First of all, the environment was different from the environment I was raised. Pretty very different. But more importantly, if he says he needs this, they give it to him. So and this thing, life situation, for 6 months, I hated my parents. I said, this guy said he wanted to travel out. And the mom said, when? How will I ever conceive traveling out? How can I ever conceive traveling out? Because of where you grew up, there's and trust me, that's why you don't have a billion. It's not your age. It's not your age. That's why you don't have a billion. There's an operating system that you're running with. That operating system says money is not enough. So you are going to also get home. Go and get water. Again. And wash your head of the idea that money is scarce or is difficult to make. Money is abundant. Money is abundant. And it could be difficult for you to want to believe, but you have to believe it. Because you will not take the step I will advise you take for the next series if you think money is scarce. So why will I write $1 billion as my goal? I think it's available. So Dr. Sika came to meet me and said, so he said he's serving, he wants to serve and he wants to save more before he takes his 1 million. By the way, they've all been paid. So I give an initial instruction that those people who are not set, let them not be paid, so that they don't go and spend the money on family issues. So he now said somebody advised him, what if Farmalat closes down? We haven't scratched the surface of where it is that we are going. Contemplating closing down is not in our dictionary. Farmalat is an extremely very successful business. The person suggested to him because the person has an operating system of scarcity. That's why people steal. Why do people steal? Because they think it will always not be there. Somebody years ago mentioned to me and said, if you have $1 billion given to you now, will you collect? And I told him, no, I will not collect it. Most of you will collect it, right? I don't collect, I was telling my team, their emails have not replied, wanting to pour money into Farmaland. And I said, till next year. This money is here. It's abundant. It's not running away. When it is time and I need it, I will pick it up. Say this after me. Money is abundant. Hey! You have to wake up and start calling. And I used to do it. When it was tough for my mind to believe initially, I would wake up and start calling. 500 million. 500 million. 1 billion. 1 billion. 1 trillion. It's not motivation. It's our environment that has put us in this precarious position because we've had our culture, our parents install an operating system, just like DNA, just like everything you are now, your accent, your religion. We got it. money too, you have gotten it. So if you check them, they don't have 1 billion. You will most likely not have 1 billion. So you will, how do you change it? You have to uninstall. You have to Control-Alt-Delete. Pop! You wipe everything out and start reinstalling new programs. Money is abundant. That's why I will not steal. Once I need it, it will come out. Operating system 1, was it? Money is important. So you are wicked if you don't have it. You are the reason why people are dying. Some of, I was talking to somebody, Dr. Tolu in Kogi. We wanted to make a strategic investment. The reason why they are dying in your village is because you are wicked. Operating system number 2 that you need to install, money is what? Abundant. So we have like 15 more minutes. And so next week, I think we'll start slightly early because I want to pick question and I don't want to go beyond 5. So, but let me just drop this. Let's do this. Let's stay at 2, but let me just drop this. It's important. I wrote it here. Not having money is a recipe for never having money. Until go and sleep upstairs. Not having money is a recipe for never having money. He that has, more will be given. He that has not, even the one he has, taken away. I want us to come in next week because I dropped this. Poor people will always be poor. There's nothing you can do about it. So, but regardless, even if it is 1,000, once you have it, you can build from it. Once you don't have it, you can't build from nothing. So I will talk on the other 2 operating systems next week quickly. And then I will now start discussing the discipline you need to have. Because this thing can be built. The most important word I have in my dictionary now is build. Because it can be built. The reason why people have this gambling mentality is simple. It's this madness around miracles. I said in my TED talk, and I believe it. If for every time a plane flies, you will need to anoint the plane. Just look at it. Will you enter a plane? Once the plane wants to fly, and then he said there's no engine, or the engine is not sound. And then somebody comes with a clergy uniform with anointing oil and is rubbing. I didn't say, will you pay? I said, will you enter free of charge? They told you. I am not underestimating the power of prayer. I'm only telling you that for Africa to move forward, we have to understand that God who created us with a brain. And he will not give us in prayers something we can get through thinking. we're importing phones, we're importing planes. We will always be backward. If I ever come into the religious sector again, and I'm leading, I will give the time for prayer. I will also log the time for thinking. I'll just ask people to come. Sit down in church or sit down in the mosque and come with a jotter. Because the God we pray to, right, can give us ideas that we need to jot. So I would say, no talking to your neighbor, just be thinking. So we need to pray. We will also need to understand that God that created us gave us a brain to think. And that's why the whites are ahead of us. You know, I said in one meeting that Asika was, I said, just imagine that all we do is pray and there's no hospital. How many people will die? We pray, we will also think. Because there's power. And don't forget, don't mistake, it is God that gave us that power. And using it is thanking him. Anything God gave to you and you use is a form of appreciation. Dr. Zainab, if I give you, what can I give to you now? If I give you a veil, and in a very important event, you wore that veil, do I feel a sense of gratitude? Do I feel a sense of gratitude? I do. One day, AIG went to Paris, bought me a shirt. So I wanted to go and see her. And my wife said, I wore that shirt yesterday. I said, yes, but I'm going to go and see AIG. Because I wanted her to see the shirt on me. God will be thankful if you use your brain. This time around, it's hot water. You will go so that it can melt everything that makes you not to use it. You go and say, hot water. And tell yourself, I have a brain. God gave it to me. I will use it. Thank you. Let's take questions. Did we learn anything today?
Thank you, sir.
Good.
So my question is about this operating system. I wanted to share one idea with us because you are talking about before you succeed, you need to wash away these two from your brain. So what I'm thinking is that this thing that the government is saying that they want to improve the local economy by disposing of funds to youth through this knife.
Yes.
My thinking is that how can you like improve the local economy of someone who you didn't train and the mindset you didn't change? I think the best way for them to do it is like to train, dispose, and monitor.
Exactly.
Then when you talk about this operating system, it just like make me to believe that what I'm thinking like is correct. So
correct.
can you shed more light on how the program will work on their own?
You have finished sharing the light.
Okay.
That's it. If you give somebody money, somebody said, and it was a popular quote everywhere, that if, Jim Rohn, there are two people, you listen to Jim Rohn, he said, if you take all the money from the rich and spread it evenly across the world, that in no distant time, it will go back to the hands of the rich. Poor people. You know, I wrote it down, it's just I didn't talk about it. I wrote it down that more money won't solve your money problem. More money will not solve your money problem. They call it, I think it was Parkinson law. Your need will always rise. That's why you need next week meeting. I have killed every desire to want to show my mates that I'm successful. You have 1 million. The next thing you want to change your car. That changing of car will announce to people that you have arrived. Check your mail the next day. You will see mails. You will see requests. And if you don't give, they will hate you more for it. Once you are buying one car, ensure that you have enough to buy 10. If they give you more money without changing this operating system, you will lose it. So that's it. Anything that gives youth, and I'm not against giving youth money, but if I've been part of scheme now, that you give money today and then the money is finished in 1 year. I was saying it in the group of the winners. I said I've seen countless number of times that I said I would not be surprised if the 1 million we give them, if some people have used it to pay house rent. I said I would not be surprised if somebody has used it. Maybe your uncle is sick, they paid hospital bill. You don't eat seeds. You eat seed. You will always be poor if you think your seed is what it is that you need to eat. Problems will come. You will not die. The people who said they are in their dying bed, go and pray for them. And I'm not trying to be wicked. Next week, I will tell you whatever income you have to keep, you cannot spend, once you start this thing, you cannot spend 30% out of your income. Go and spend 70%. Any problem, 70% cannot solve. Any problem, 70% cannot solve. 100% will not solve it. Don't follow that deception. Once we start this journey, I've told us to buy shares, right? Next week, be prepared for me to be the headmaster of this place. All the income that comes to you, it was from that 30% I bought shares for these children. All the income, as soon as it's coming like this, that 30% is meant to either start a business or to invest in something. Let's leave for next week. So please, they have to be trained. Thank you. All right. Any question? We have just 5 minutes. Okay. But if there are no questions, I'm happy to close. Okay, so let's get 2 persons recount. What did you learn? And then we'll close it this way. What did you learn today? Just count anything, whatever. Question online? Oh yeah, go ahead. Give the question. I really want us to be keeping to time. So that will probably be the last question, and then we're done for today.
So, sir, due to some expenses as an average human being in Nigeria, rent, transportation, and feeding. So let's say you're not earning as much.
As much?
Yes. 70% might not really be enough to solve all those problems.
100% too.
Will not be enough. Yes.
You will have to decide what path you want to take. This thing I've said, it's a lot of wisdom. Once you don't have, you will never. You don't want to be, let me say it the exact way I put it down, right? Not having is a recipe for what? Never having. Let me tell you the truth. If you have have the discipline. And you will have reasons to trek when you have money. Like you have 30% and you have saved the 30% up to 100,000. And the 70,000 you don't have money to even come to work. You will know you have broken the bond of poverty the moment you take a decision to trek. Like the poverty that is pursuing you like this, you just gapped him. They are pursuing you like this. Just the moment you had that 30%, there's something that happens to you when you have money. In fact, that abundant mindset. I have 2 million in savings. I have 2 million in savings. There's something I wrote down, but I could not talk about it, and ignorance is what has driven people into that poverty trap. Some people, they will be, I think somebody died for 6'5", and Jerry went for the burial. I don't know the heart. This thing that I said, just for, he missed his medication, 6'5", If 70% is not enough, 100% is a deception. But if you have the discipline to consistently keep that 30%, and the day you don't have, you decide to drink water. That's why I'm not fat. And I got used to it. These days, my wife would dish food, and I see it. I don't eat more than one bowl. Why? So I was saving. And then I realized eating 3 meals a day. Then, I think that was back 2009. Eating 3 meals a day was depleting my savings. I cut it down to 2 meals a day. It was still depleting my savings. I cut it down to 1 meal a day. I used to hate to eat because I was spending to eat. You have eaten your upstairs. It's inside your stomach. So the day you decide that you didn't have to eat, take water. Trust me, you will not die. You will just be slim. You will just be slim. You will not die. And hope you know you can stay on water for 40 days. You can stay on water. You can stay on water for 40 days. You will not die. But if you ever do it because you are keeping savings, that night, you don't need water to delete the operating system. Your goal for building wealth has taken over you. You will be successful. No enemy at that point can pray for your downfall. It will not work. Well, go ahead, madam. And please, last comment. We're done.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the section. So I was just thinking through what happened to me while I was in the conference, because the summary of everything I've learned from this, just in a word, a sentence, is like money amplifies what is already in you.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were at this conference and they asked us if, let's say I get to mention a particular amount. So let's say, Dr. Asika, if I mention 1 billion now, would your heart skip? Thank you. So,
not just skip. There are people who will not be able to sleep. One day I went to, we held $100,000. And I just kept it by the side and I was grabbing Jerry and he was careful. I said, 100,000, just $100,000. In fact, I gave it to somebody without even looking back. Let's keep it that. If it leaves, it will come back. It's paper. It is not me. The producing that paper is inside me. That one cannot leave.
Okay, yes, sir. So when I saw the way my heart skipped from that meeting, I just knew that I need to work on the inside. And that was why I wasn't getting enough. So it was from that moment I began to really become more
Exactly.
when it comes to finances.
Exactly.
So that understanding that money is currency,
Yeah.
it flows,
Yeah.
and from the inside, we have that capacity to get more.
Exactly.
And especially the reference you made just now as regards the amount, 70% can actually handle the same thing,
It will handle.
100% can handle. And I was like, oh my God, this is something that I have to now really be intentional about.
Let me tell you, and pardon me that I have to cut you. If you stay on 70%, it's not just that you have handled the issue, it's that your mind has expanded to manage resources. There are some geniuses that comes out from scarcity. You will think you will not find a way. Meanwhile, there's a creative way waiting just by your side. But because you think you have, that's why you've not seen that. Have creative ways come out from pain, has it? And guess what? This God there, I love God. The way he created our mind, it can find alternatives. So you say, okay, it's 70% I have this month. I'm earning 100,000. I have to stay within 70%, and I'll teach us budgeting next week. This is what you have to spend. You will plan everything. Once it's not enough, you start asking. So again, look at it this way. So we paid for this place, and it's Kayode Consulting that is paying for this place. And I said, okay, since this training, we're not going to be charging. And the other idea is advertising. We'll build billboards soon, electronic billboards across Abuja. And media, will hold media meetings. I said, but again, we're not earning. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do? What do we need to do? Not that there was no money. If we can still pay for this, the rent of this place, 5 years. But because I've learned the attitude of always ensuring that whatever it is you do now, let it work. An idea just came. I was just in church, and then just came in, open a laundry service. Next week, we are closing this kitchen that is here and starting a laundry service. We've registered the name. We will not do this local laundry. We'll go and buy the machine in this kitchen. And we'll be saving until the rent of this place is paid. Do we have the money? Yes. But because I've built a habit of always sustaining everything I do, that was when the idea came. So don't be surprised. You don't go back, right? We have the kitchen, right? We will close it from this place. And then corporate, I've done the logo. Individual, industrial, and corporate dry cleaning. And it's from that we will fund all this place. So when, despite you have, your brain thinks of sustaining the little that you have budgeted and thinks of multiplying it, ideas will come that will give you more money. And once that more money comes in, you will just realize that you have ease to doing everything without pressure. Please, next week, there will be AC here next week so that I'm sweating. And then you can bring one more friend. Don't force anybody, right? I'm not after, so do it at your convenience. Don't force anybody. If they want to come, let them come. If you think you're not learning, don't come. If you think you're learning and you can invest in coming, it's to your own good. At the end of the day, I have one assurance that at least a minimum of 50% of K-Trybe people will be extremely successful financially. With these very few points of mine, so let me introduce Teresa. So she will be, we just got her into the team. Please come, please put your hands together for her. Thank you. So we just got her into the team together with Miracle, right? Please come. So Miracle handles admin, but she works directly with our director of training. What we will be doing, this training is free. We also want to get people, so we're going to be opening a portal where people will submit CVs. And then we're going to be linking them up with jobs. So they will submit CVs. Since they're not doing anything, we'll bring them together and train them, because even excelling in workplace is also a skill. Weekdays, we will bring them in here, call members, and train them. And more importantly, refine their CV and connect them to jobs, because the next 10 years is helping young people become successful. I will not be able to do that because I still have growing concerns, but she's now heading this entire training. So whatever it is that you need, you don't need to meet me, just meet her, and you'll be able to handle everything. So thank you so much. You can give her the mic, let her close the meeting.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank everyone for coming this evening. I'm so sorry we didn't get to do some introductions to know everyone that was here. But we can still do that just for 5 minutes. Or let's just we can do that for 5 minutes. Let's just get to know each other. My name is Firen, by the way, Teresa Jigba. And let's start from you, please.
Okay, my name is Dr. Nancy
Nice to
Inyotu.
meet you.
Yep, and I work with Farm-A-Lot.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Miracle Akago, and I'm the administrative officer here.
Thank you.
My name is Lovina Timothy. I'm officer assistant here.
My name is Zainab Abdullahi Biu. I work with Farm-A-Lot, Community Engagement Officer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Adegoke. I'm serving here in Abuja, and I work with the Nigerian Army at their farm at Kiri.
You're
I'm a
welcome.
veterinarian, yeah.
You're welcome.
Everyone, my name is Victor John. I work with the real estate organization, Romeo Construct.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Umezin John. I'm a vet copper as well. I also work at the University of Abuja Vet Hospital.
You're welcome.
Okay, good evening. My name is Praise Akobo, and I'm a core member.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Asika Augustine. I am a core member to be. If there's something like that.
Yeah, you are the Otondos.
My name is Abdullah Ibrahim, a K-Trybe member.
You're welcome, sir.
I'm Iben. I'm currently serving with FCTA.
You're welcome. So thank you, everybody that was here. We have some, let our babies.
All right, so my name is Kayode, and I don't even know who I work for now, whether Farm-A-Lot or Kayode Consulting, but I'm serving in both capacities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next week, we'll start very early, and I just want to encourage everyone, please, can you always come with someone? It's not too hard to do. You can invite someone, come with someone, encourage someone, and then when we post the flyers, please help us to repost it so that people that are like you, like most of us here are core members. We have a lot of friends. When we go for CDS, we can gist with them and invite them for this Power Pack program. And I promise next week will be really engaging and interesting. Thank you all very much for coming. And then on behalf of Kayode's Consult, I want to say good night.